Hello, how are you doing? My name is DEESETURUMANE and welcome back to my channel. If you're new, welcome. I make videos about motherhood, lifestyle, and fitness. Today I'm going to be reviewing a book that I recently read, Everything Is Figureoutable by Marie Forleo. I made some notes, just a couple of post-its. And if you follow me on Instagram, you would have seen that I was reading this book. It took me a while to read, but it was good. It was so good. I love Marie Forleo. I've watched a lot of her YouTube videos, and when this book first came out, I don't know which year it came out, I actually wanted to buy it for my sister as a Christmas present, and I never got around to it. So I bought it for myself recently and I read it. This is actually the first book that I finished this year, and I recently just got back into reading. I used to read a lot before becoming a mom, and you know, being a mom is just, it's hectic, you guys, and I don't really have that much time, and I really can't blame it on being a mom. I think that it's a combination of being a mom, now getting into filming more YouTube videos, running a fitness business. It's a lot, so the combination of all of that just makes it a little bit difficult for me to read actual tangible books. I think maybe the solution to that might be subscribing to things like Audible so that I can listen to books, because I do love listening to podcasts when I'm either at the gym or when I'm driving. The first thing I love about this book is that it's a really short book. When I pick a book, firstly I look at the title and the cover, and this is quite a bright colored one. Ooh, look, it matches my nails. Bright colored, it's attractive. I know they say don't judge a book by its cover, but that's literally how I judge. And then I look at the inside, just sort of page through to look at how big the writing is, because you guys, I've got like the concentration span of like a fish. I can't focus if the writing is too small, and this is just perfect for me. So just going on looks, I think that's great. It's got a few sort of, you know, it looks like Marie's handwriting, journal inserts from her own journal, which I like. And it's a short book, 277 pages I'd say, and it's got 10 chapters. It took me a long while to read because, like I said, I've got a short attention span. I can't even finish a chapter a day, which is something that I'm trying to work towards. So I'm starting off by reading at least 5 pages a day, and that's been working fine for me. So if you want a short book to read, this is it. When I got this book, I really had no expectations for it. I didn't know what it was about. I had no idea, but the title, Everything Is Figureoutable, made me sort of want to find out what it's about, and made me sort of want to figure out some things in my life. This book can apply to so many different situations, and it is helping me even right now, after I finish reading it, try to figure out the direction I'm going to take with my YouTube channel. I made a whole video about that. The direction I'm going to do with my fitness business, e.g. start a Patreon, and it's helped me sort of figure those things out in a very easy and relatable way. She uses a lot of language that I can relate to, although she is an older millennial. It's easy to read. Here in my little post-it notes I wrote, easy to read, and it really just showed that I overthink things. So for me, a book needs to be actionable. I prefer reading, maybe not say I read a lot of, because I don't read a lot. I prefer reading self-help books that have actionable steps, and at the end of each chapter, Marie has got this insight to action challenge where it gives you sort of journal prompts. This one says, recall at least one instance in your life when either by choice or circumstances beyond your control, you started before you were ready. And I'd, you know, open my book and my journal and write things down. And it's nice for me to journal and put my thoughts to paper, because it just makes sense for me that way. When I see it laid out, it's like, hey, this is actually not that hard. And so, like I said, it showed that I'm overthinking things. She breaks things down so easily in different ways to go about it, that when I'm inside my head, I can't do it by myself, which is great. because I feel like this is like coaching via a book. One of the things that I have been struggling with, and I mentioned this in a vlog that I did, was how much social media I consume, particularly Instagram, okay? And I didn't expect that she'd cover this, but in one of the chapters where it's called Eliminate Excuses, she says eliminate media consumption. Now, I haven't completely eliminated media consumption, but I've been very conscious about how much time I spend on Instagram. And my rule right now is I cannot go on Instagram just to consume. If I haven't posted something that I created, why am I letting somebody else influence me by their posts? Whether it's positive influence, but I think a lot of the time what happens to me is that, I think some people might agree with me, you tend to consume so much content, whether it's via podcasts, whether it's Instagram, YouTube, whatever, that you start losing your own way of thinking, that you start sounding like other people, you start sounding like the people that you follow on Instagram. And it happens so easily that you don't notice it unless you take a break from social media, unless you start being conscious of how much you're consuming on social media. And currently I'm in the launch week of my Patreon, and after this week I mean I've been creating a ton, okay? I've been creating a ton and I'm very proud of myself, but it's obviously brought in a lot of feedback to me as well. So I'm going to take a whole week off of Instagram after the launch week of my Patreon, which is linked in the description box, just to recoup, to go back to the drawing board, figure out what worked, what didn't work, what could be improved on, what I loved, and all of that jazz. So my rule is create before you consume. And in here she says, yeah, create before you consume. Hello. I didn't even open this book before putting this sort of boundary with myself. It's just something that I realized that I cannot just go on Instagram and scroll. It's not serving me. I'm wasting time that I could be spending creating a video, creating a graphic, writing an email to my email community. So many different ways that I can create, but I'm choosing to spend my time consuming. And this brings me to my next point of, a lot of the time if you ask somebody, if I ask you, right, I'm a fitness coach, I'm a personal trainer, if I ask you, why do you think that you are not working out? The number one question or the number one response that I get is because I don't have time. Now, this exercise that is done in this book, it's in one of the Insight to Action challenges, is to just take a week to be aware of how you're spending your time. Spend the week journaling what you're doing. Like, don't change anything, just kind of be aware of what you're doing. And I think that's what brought me to my awareness of how much social media I'm consuming. So if currently, right, on my phone I've got an app timer for Instagram, and the maximum amount of time that I'm going to spend on Instagram is 3 hours. I don't now use all the 3 hours except this week because it's launch week, but mostly I think it's like about 2 hours. So if I've got 2 hours in my day to spend on Instagram, I definitely have 30 minutes to an hour to train. Okay, if you've got 3 hours, I know a ton of people are, you know, their emails are just dragging them down, chowing a lot of time. If you've got 3 hours to spend checking emails, you've got an hour in your day to exercise. Okay, like, just revisit the things that you're telling yourself. You know, it's helped me to do that so much that if I have 3 hours to spend on Instagram, I can literally cut 2 of those hours out and decide I'm only going to spend an hour of my day on Instagram, and the other 2 I could spend doing other things that I should be doing. Another thing that I really appreciate about this book is that it's helped me to get back into journaling. And journaling was something that I used to do a ton before becoming a mom. I do it in the morning and in the evening. Right now I only do it in the evening, and it doesn't have to look like anything fancy. If I don't feel like I've got enough time to journal, I have to, like, at the bare minimum, at least write down 3 things that I'm grateful for that happened on that day. You know, because a lot of people, yes, it's good to be grateful for your home, it's good to be grateful that you have food, it's good to be grateful that you've got clothes on your back, but what are you grateful for that happened in that day? So those are the things that I journal currently, and sometimes it even opens doors to me journaling about other things. So this on the page that I've got open now, page 100, it's about fear taming. You know, like, often I sigh because it's literally a conversation that I had the other day. Often we let our fears just put us in a freeze zone, not a fight zone, not a flight zone, just a freeze zone. You let your fears get to a state where you feel like the fear is so big enough that you decide to do nothing. And I realized that for me, that definitely, or not definitely, that wasn't necessarily fear. It was being anxious. It was me letting my anxiety get to me. But over and above that, it is perfectionism and fear of criticism. So instead of putting out more content to you guys, I let people's ideas and opinions of me stop me from doing what I want to do, which is serve more, which is create more and share more. And that comes from perfectionism, which definitely is something that I'm learning to let go of. So this writing on fear taming has helped me to sort of break down what's actually behind this fear. What is this fear trying to tell me? Because in essence, fear can be a good thing. Fear is what keeps us safe. But sometimes it can be something that's not something that's harmful. It's, you know, you're trying to keep yourself safe from something that's not harmful. So it just debilitates you. You become this scared little girl that's afraid of people judging, that's afraid of what are they going to say. Who's they? Okay, so I really appreciated the fear taming part of it. Finally, the thing that it's not really the final thing, there are a few, but I want to keep this video short. One of the other things that I learned was how this book has helped me change my mindset and to look at things from a different perspective, to get out of my head and to not get into a thought spiral, and to remove the emotion that is accompanied by whatever I'm going through. Like, if I have failed at something, I might feel ashamed or embarrassed. And yes, it's okay, I can feel those feelings and work through them, but I shouldn't stay in them, and rather use that experience as a lesson. Like, I am not a failure. You know, failure is not a person. You can't be a failure, but you did fail at something, and dissect it and look at why this didn't work. That is how you can improve on things. And so I really enjoyed this book. I'm gonna try and do book reviews for you guys for the books, the many books that I'm reading, and see if you should spend your money on this. I definitely say spend your money on this. This cost me, I think it was like 250 Rand or 300, between 250 and 350, I'd say. So it's a great purchase, and I think that it's a book that, you know, like, I've made these sticky notes that I can write on, and should I need to go back and reference things, I can do that. So you can read it front to back and also use it as a reference book, which is brilliant. So yeah, let me know if you've read this book, what you thought about it, or if you're gonna buy this book. Thank you so much for watching. Do give this video a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next one.